Hi, everybody.
Hi, hi.
How are you?
Thank you. Fine. Hope you were too.
Yep, doing okay. I had my practice tiles up on the screen. I hope you didn't see them. I want it to be a surprise.
Recording in progress.
Okay, you have to turn it off.
Oh, because there's two Gales.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. Oh, Jane, you're still in the office?
No, I came back. It's a long story. I'll say.
Okay, everything all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Arlene. Hi, Debbie.
Hello, everybody. Hi.
Okay, great. Now we have only one Gale, the one and only. Hi, Michelle. How are you?
Hi, Micah. Doing well.
So we have, I don't know, 20 something people signed up for
Right.
it.
Rebecca said she's going to try to join. It's just Asher's dinner time.
Okay, great. Well, I am recording,
I
so
saw that you were recording, so I didn't have to remind you.
nope. But that, just because it happens this time doesn't mean it's gonna happen every time. So everybody, Gail, your kit arrived in time?
Yes.
Great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi, Myrna.
Hi.
I'm excited because we have some fun toys to play with. So it's just nice to continue to evolve and just add options to our Zentangle practice. So
Mike, am I supposed to be able to see you or just hear you?
no, you can just hear me. My screen is you can see my hand.
Okay, got it.
I
Got
can't
it.
figure out, I have this new-ish document camera, and it used to be that you could see me and what we were working on, and this one just completely takes over the camera, and it's just that, but it's fine. You don't need to see me.
Okay, sounds good.
Here, I'll switch it for a sec so we can say hi. Let me see. Okay, now you can see me.
Hi.
Hi.
Are you in the basement?
I'm in my craft room, which, I mean, it's on the lowest level of my house, but we don't
It's
call it a
just so much darker than your kitchen.
Yes, no, I'm not in the kitchen because I just know people are going to be coming home and making noise. So I figured it was safer if I retreat downstairs. But you can see, the baskets have moved with me
Yeah.
from Fieldston. You can see a dollhouse in the background. I got more baskets and more dollhouses over here. So this is my happy place. This is where the magic happens.
That's good.
Hi, Nan. Are you feeling better? Oh, she can hear me.
Yes. Yeah, I'm all better. Thank
Good.
you.
Good.
Did you get, I know Paul had COVID. Did you get it?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Okay.
But it was mild.
Yeah.
Had you already gotten the new vaccine?
I had, but not far enough in advance, I don't think, to make a difference, only about a week. So
Yep.
I think 2 weeks might have helped a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Misha. Hi, Rebecca. Hi, Amy. Amy, you made it home.
Hi.
Hi, Marcia.
Hi.
Ellie. I don't know who iPhone
Sure.
is, but hi.
For all you Zentangle fans out there, we're having a student art show at the JCC right now, and the art is up. And I happened to notice that one of the art pieces was done by either a third or fourth grader. It's an amazing elephant, and if you stop by and check it out, the elephant is filled with Zentangle inside.
Oh,
Yeah, it's really great. It's a great
wow.
piece.
That's amazing. Oh, I love that.
All Zentangle. You recognize all the tangles.
I'm sure. Oh, that's fabulous. All right. Right. Well, we're 16, so we're close to critical mass. So we're gonna get started. I'm gonna ask everyone to mute themselves, or I will mute you. Here we go. If at any point you have questions, feel free, you raise a hand, raise a digital hand, or unmute yourself and say, I have a question. I just find that the silence lends to a more meditative experience for our tangling this evening. So I'm going to go ahead and switch my camera over to the document camera so you can see, we can talk a little bit about the tools that we're going to be using tonight and then get started. So here we go. Let's see. Okay, so let me spotlight this. Here we go. All right. So I have in front of me a square Zentangle tile. I'm just wondering, well, it'll be contrasted enough against the white in a moment. I'm looking to see if I have something I can put underneath. Anyway, we'll be fine. And we're going to be using, we have a whole bunch of fun tools in your kit. Hopefully you also have nearby from classes past your Zentangle pencil, a tortillon. If you don't have those things, any regular pencil and fingers work fine for blending. This is, let's talk a minute about this. This is a brush pen. So you're going to want to go take a second and fill this up with water. It unscrews. You just unscrew it, the top from the bottom. You fill this little thing with water. It just takes a little bit, but a little goes a long way. And then you just screw the top back on. And when you're ready to use it, it's a brush, and just a gentle squeeze, very gentle squeeze, will allow water to flow out of the reservoir and onto the brush. So you don't have to be dipping in water. I find this just a really fun tool. It's great for watercolor pencils, washes, and things like that. So if it's not filled already, go ahead and take a minute to do that.
Cantor, could you show how to undo that again?
It unscrews the opposite direction you think it does. It's reverse. It's a righty loosey, lefty tighty, which makes absolutely no sense.
Oh,
Can you see? You got that?
yes.
Yeah, it's opposite of what you expect. Okay, so we're going to use this brush pen tonight. We're also going to use our General's Sketch and Wash pencil. If you didn't have a chance to pick up your kit, I will give you options for working around these two pieces that you don't have. So don't worry. But the Sketch and Wash pencil is just a new tool to play with that we're going to experiment with tonight. A Micron PN, which you should have received in your kit. If for some reason you don't have it, any black Micron will do. The PN is a sturdier tip nib. It's the same ink, made by the same Sakura company. It's a great pen. So just a little bit of a different option to play with. And in each of your kits, you have some color jelly roll. So mine is purple, but you all have different colors. We're not going to use our the chalk pastel, which I gave you tonight. That'll be for later. So just don't get that confused with the Sketch and Wash. The Sketch and Wash has the silver at the tip. Other things to just have on hand, again, if you have a Zentangle pencil, if you have a tortillon, if you have maybe a gold jelly roll or some other colors, I'll give lots of options for ways to play and embellish this. All right, good so far?
Mike, are you using the white tile or the gray
Yep.
tile?
The white square tile.
Thank you.
Yep. Sure. Okay. So before we dive in, let's settle ourselves and have a little moment of meditation. So I invite you to come to a comfortable position in your seat. Oh, and even before you do that, if you have a mess on your table where you're working, just take a second and clear away any other distractions, maybe even set your phone aside elsewhere. I'm going to turn on Do Not Disturb on my computer, so hopefully we'll not hear any binging or pinging. Clear yourself some space so you have a nice little area to work. Close your eyes if you care to. Let's take a deep breath in together and let it out. And another deep breath in and out. In long and low and deep. Out. Slow, controlled. And continue breathing like this. We are in an unprecedented time for our people. Maybe not unprecedented, but it's alarming that here we are again. All of us are coping with the world events and what's happening in Israel in different ways. And I think it's even running in the background, even if we're not feeling it so acutely. And there are, I don't know, maybe I'm just speaking for myself, these undercurrents of anxiety and worry that, are just sort of there. And whether we notice them or not are affecting our day-to-day interactions with others, with ourselves, with our spouses, with our children. It seems in the last few years, we always have something like this running in the background, and all the more reason why Zentangle is important for us to pause for a moment, set the troubles of the world aside for just a short time. We're not ignoring them. We're just putting them down for a minute and allowing some time for ourselves to recenter, to focus on something productive and beautiful, and to lift up goodness and possibility. So that is our goal tonight. If you're new to Zentangle, you will hear me say many times it is about the process, not the product. This is meant to be relaxing and rewarding and experimental. Don't be afraid to try things. Please refrain from judging yourself or comparing your tile to mine or the person in the screen above you or below you. Your work is your work. It's coming out of your hands. You are making it, and that in and of itself is a gift. So I will walk you through what we are going to do tonight, but it's just a suggestion. If something else comes to mind, if another tangle pattern inspires you, just go for it. We're just here to be creative, to have some time making something pretty together. We can accomplish it, we can finish it, we can set it aside, and we can feel good about what we've done. So let's take one more breath in together and let it out. And when you're ready, I invite you to open your eyes and we can begin. So I'm going to clear these things off just so I have a little room. I'm just looking at my white tile. I'm going to take a pencil. This is just a woodless pencil that somebody gave me. I just happened to grab it today from my office, so that's what I'm using. But if you have your Zentangle pencil, you can take that. Even if you don't have a pencil, you can dive right in with your pen. We're going to start with a tangle called Aquafleur, and it's going to fill most of our tile. And it's really just a sort of blob. The technical term, we're going to draw a blob. So I'm going to show you my blob first, but then you're going to make your own blob. we're going to want to take up a lot of the area here because we're not going to do anything in the background. So I'm just kind of making a blob. And I just went really lightly with my pencil. I didn't think too much about it. And I made my blob. Okay. After that, I'm going to set my pencil down for a little while. I'm going to then pick up my Micron PN. So it's always upside down when I go to show you because I am left-handed. Okay, so Micron PN, I'm going to put the cap on the back. That helps me to keep track of it. And we're going to start our Tangle Aquaflor. It's a lovely kind of wrapping, ribboning tangle. And we're going to wrap this blob in Aquaflor. This is something you might want to watch me do for a little bit till you feel like have the hang of it and can give it a go. So all of these sort of Aquaflor ribbons that we're going to create are going to originate from a single point. Just for the sake of demonstration, I'm just going to make a little point down here at the bottom. You don't have to do this. I'm just showing you all of everything that I'm going to draw now is going to come from that point. Okay, as I go work around my shape. So I'm going to start with a curved line. All of these lines that I'm going to draw are curving and graceful and sort of swooping. So I'm going to start at that point that I've designated and come up, and it curves around and loops down to touch my pencil line that I drew. So however your line is going to go, it's going to come up and it's going to loop down and touch the top of the line so that you have a little space under here. Okay, and then the next one is going to start from the same point and loop up and do the same thing and touch down there. And see how it starts? It's very narrow down at the bottom. It gets wider up at the top. And then I hope, please still watch for a moment. And then I'm just going to connect the top of this loop to the top of this loop like that. Okay, so this here is a ribbon sort of shape, and it's wrapping around and going behind our blob. And don't worry about this thing here. We're going to deal with that later. Okay. Does that idea make sense? Okay. So when you're ready, go ahead and try that first one. I won't go on until you do that one. So you're going to, it's kind of this reverse S curve is what I did for that first one that comes up and loops around. And if you want to kind of draw it in the air above your paper before you do it with pen, I like to do that too. So go ahead and draw that first loop and then go back to your starting point and make the second loop and then connect across the top. Okay. We're going to make 3 or 4 of these. I've tried this, sometimes I end up with 6 of these bands, sometimes 5, sometimes 4. I think less is more. So now, but they're all going to start from the same place. So now I'm going to do another one. Same idea, this loop up and around to make the next one. Okay, but I'm not dealing with this area. I'm going to make another one that comes up to meet it around here. Okay, so we have another band. This is the ribbon that's wrapping around our shape, our blob. And then I'm going to connect the tops of those 2 humps together. All right. I'm going to put another one that's going to come in this area here. Same thing. Looping up and over. Another one to go with it. and then connecting the tops. This next one, these all have been curving with their loops to the left. Now that I'm on this other side, I'm going to curve around to the right for the last one or maybe two, depends how big they get. So this one is going to just come around and loop this way. One there. Its other part like that, and then connect the tops that way. And I think I have room for one more down here. Just a little one. And I think for balance, I'm going to go back to my other side. I think because that it has that little one over there, I have room for another little one over here. You may not. You listen to your tile. You don't need to cram it in if it doesn't feel like it's going to fit well. But if you feel like you have a little extra room, you can put one more. Okay, so at the end of the day, I ended up with 6. Maybe you have 5, maybe you have 4. 7 might be too many. But if you have 7, we'll make it work. Okay. I'm just scrolling through to take a look to see if heads are down or if people are looking at me like, go ahead, keep going. All right, so in these bands that we just drew, oh wait, no, let's do something else first. I've tried this tile a bunch of different ways. So I want to go over our pencil lines in the spaces that in these areas here, we're not going to do anything with the pencil. We're going to leave it alone. It's going to disappear underneath the ribbon. But in this space here and here, we're going to go over our pencil lines. I'm just tracing right over. When I come up to that ribbon that we made, I'm going to stop. Okay, we're just leaving this alone. And then I'm going to pick up here, go to that one, continue here, continue here. Okay, and then back on this side, we're going to do the same thing. This is in pen. We're leaving that pencil line underneath our band, our ribbon. This gets inked in. We leave this. And then we just ink in that last little bit of our block. Okay, so already those pencil lines behind the ribbons are pretty much gone. So this is the basics of aquafleur, of this kind of wrapping thing. And you can wrap anything. You can aquafleur anything. It's really fun. You can aquafleur a heart. You can aquafleur a leaf. It's a very fun tangle. And because it has lots of area within it, it becomes a great fragment in which to put our reticula. So meaning you can tangle within this tangle, and that's exactly what we're going to do tonight. So we're going to put the tangle called Shattuck in our ribbons, our aquafleur ribbons. I'm going to really quickly, if you're not familiar with Shattuck, I'm going to show you. I'm going to use these lines here on the back of my Zentangle tile. By the way, the back of the tile is a great place to practice. So there's a couple of different ways to do Shattuck. I like to do it this way. I'm going to show you. So you're going to start, okay, one way might be easy. Nope, I'm going to show you my way. So let's say like you've got a bottom here. So you're going to make a little pie piece with that bottom corner. Okay, so from up here down to this bottom corner, you make this little wedge. And then you're going to fill in that wedge with slightly curved lines that take you all the way down. Okay, Then you're going to turn your tile and you're going to make a wedge using this space here. So from the top of this one that you drew before, I'm going to make another striped pie piece. And I turn my tile and I do another one going in the direction of the first one. I make that top side and then fill in, go back the other way, make that top piece, and then fill in. Let me show you the other way that you might prefer, and then you do it how you want. Okay, so here's another one. Here's another channel. So some people like to start with the smallest part of this shape and go larger. So you could start in the tiniest corner and make your way over to the other side. And then start in this little corner on the other direction and go back this way. And then start in the tiniest corner and go back that way. So it's kind of, if you like to go big to small or small to big, I prefer big to small. I find I get more even Shattuck, although looking at them, they look pretty much identical. Okay, so that's Shattuck. We're gonna fill these Aquaflor ribbons with Shattuck. When we're down in the bottom here, it's really hard, so don't worry too much about it. I'm just gonna make a couple little lines in one direction, and then I'm gonna start to go the other way. So you don't have to worry about being too precise in that tiny little space down in the bottom. And I'm just going to take my time and try to keep those lines as even as possible. If there's variations, don't worry about it. There's going to be so many of them, it all kind of blends together into just the whole of the piece that we're working on. So don't get too mired in the details.
Micah, are we doing this in all the ribbon strips that we
Yes.
drew?
Yes.
Okay, so I can start
Unless-
with a bigger one
yes.
and then come back.
Yep. So unless you have another vision and would like to mix up what you put in all your ribbons, yes, I'm going to put Shattuck in all of them. But it would be a very cool thing if you wanted to put some different patterns. Okay, so remember these little loopy things that helped us make this ribbon. I'm actually able to use mine as one of the pieces of Shattuck. If you're not, just don't worry about it. It's going to fade away. We're going to shade. It's not going to matter at all. And it's a little hard to be precise again up at the top where it kind of turns the corner, but you know, some lines any which way and it looks like you completed a whole ribbon of Shattuck. So we're going to go ahead and fill all of our ribbons with Shattuck. So just remember these little wedges of stripes that go in alternating directions. Take your time. Nice, easy, light grip on your pen. The pen does all of the work for you. It just glides across the tile. It's really a lovely tool. So just enjoy the repetitive nature. You can see I'm turning my tile back and forth every time I change directions so that my drawing hand stays in exactly the same position. It doesn't move at all. The tile moves underneath it. And that also helps with consistency and comfort. Remembering to breathe. And you don't have to worry about, doing the exact same number of stripes in your shattuck, every wedge. I usually end up with about 4, but sometimes there's more, sometimes there's less. Shattuck is one of those tangles that when you step back from it, if you didn't know, it looks so incredibly complicated and intricate. It's really just a whole mess of curved lines over and over and over again. We usually say less is more. I think my philosophy with Zentangle is more is more. Just put more lines on it, put more ink on it. Just keep going. Be kind to yourself. If you're internally judging and saying, "Ugh, I messed up on that line," or "That's crooked," or just please let it go. Just go along for the ride. Just see what's going to happen. There are no mistakes in Zentangle. Just maybe things you'll do differently next time. This is my 4th time creating this tile today, so if that's any indication. Remember to breathe. Relax your shoulders. Relax your pen grip. Just be a little bit mindful of your hand. This ink does take a minute to dry, and what we're going to do in a little bit also stays wet for a bit. So just try not to drag your hand over any ink that you've newly laid down. It will smudge a little bit. It's already very striking, very fun. Okay, I have one more little band left. Okay. I imagine many of you are still working, so I'm going to cap my pen and just hang out for a second. I tend to be a little speedy. If you've already finished all of your Shattuck, you can take this opportunity to go and zhuzh, as my friend Nan likes to say. If there are lines that you want to clean up or send some love to, you can do so. I might even color in these places where the Shattuck ribbon wraps over our blob. These are very technical terms. I'm going to color those in. It's like the shadowed underside of the ribbon going over the top of our blob package. And these spots will stay damp for a moment, so just be mindful of them. A lot of ink. Yeah, makes it kind of pop. So we could be done right there. That's pretty cool. Just checking in to see if anybody has any questions so far. If you're not done with Shattuck yet, you can always come back to it. I want to show you the next step. Okay, I see heads down, but I'm going to show you what's coming next. So we're going to take our jelly roll. I have a purple 06. You may have an 08. You definitely have different colors. I just kind of mixed and matched. If you're not crazy about your jelly roll color, or you have different feelings, the gold, if you have a gold jelly roll, that'd be cool too. Or some other pen that you want to try, like a brown micron, or even if you want to stick with black. So those are all options. This is just something we're going to play with. So I'm going to, again, this is purple. It's a little hard to see, but I'm going to uncap my purple jelly roll. And in these white spaces that we have now, I'm going to put flux. So flux is a really pretty organic tangle. We use it a lot. I use it a lot. It's just a little leaf shape, a little petal shape. So it's like drawing an upside down teardrop. So I'm starting from the bottom, I'm coming up and then coming back down. And then I make a little vein that goes about halfway up in the center. And flux can grow two out of the same little base, or even three, or one could sort of sneak off the top of another one. They can even go in different directions. They don't have to all go in the same direction. Really, however you want them to go. So we're going to fill the white spaces with flux. However, we're going to start down at the bottom, but we're not going to go all the way up to the top. We're going to leave a little bit of space at the top section of each of these white bands. I'll show you what's going to happen there in a little bit. So again, like with the bottoms here, it starts out very small. We don't need to worry too much about it. I'm going to start in this larger area so you can just see how I'm going to grow my flux. But again, yours don't have to look like mine, and I'm playing with lots of different ways of whether they're kind of symmetrical or they just kind of go all over. So we'll see what happens this time. So I just fit that first one under there. Have another one that comes up this way, kind of alternating, and then I'm just filling the space. I had a little empty area there, so I stuck another one in. Again, hard to tell, but this is purple. The leaves can fall behind one another. They don't have to all be on top. What do I mean by that? They can kind of overlap, which you always draw the top one first, and then you have to figure out how to draw. Like here, I'm going to make this one kind of go in behind another one. Just an option. They can be small and large, curving to the left or the right. And I'm going to go close to the top, but not all the way to the top. And if you have any little spaces, sometimes you end up with these little triangular spaces in between your leaves. You can put a little orb in them and then fill in behind the orb. It's a fun thing to do. It depends. You may have a thicker jelly roll, and that becomes a little bit harder in small spaces. You'll see what you feel like you want to do. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put flux in each of these white bands that we have here, unless you feel like you want to mix it up and put some other pattern in there. You could just do all tipple, which are little orbs. You could do printemps. Actually, I'll give you some options. Why not? So if you wanted, printemps are spirals. So you could put a spiral in, and then lots of little ones that kind of come around. So here's another option. Again, we're not going to fill all the way up to the top. We'll go all the way down to the bottom. And I'm just filling in with these little spiral shapes. Take your time with the jelly roll. Hold the pen upright. They don't like to be too much at an angle. Okay, so you could do that. Let's see, we could just do orbs, some tipple. So you could just put little circles squished in here any which way. So again, these are just suggestions. You can do every section the same. You could do every section different. You could alternate, just giving you options to play. But at the top of each band, I'm leaving a little bit of room. Let's see, what else might we do in these interstices? Could do a little poke root if you wanted to, if you have a little bit more space. Over here, you could stick a few. With some orbs in the background. I think I'm going to go back to flux in this one here. And maybe some spirals, some printemps down here. And maybe just some orbs. Maybe they overflowed from the one next door into this one. So this is really fun because we drew a Zentangle pattern and then we put patterns inside the pattern. And we kept some uniform, all the same color, and then maybe you mixed it up or maybe you kept it the same. So this is beautiful. It's a little all the same. There's nothing that's standing out more than the other. So we need to add some contrast and some depth. So I'm going to cap my purple pen. So whatever you're using, you can finish up with that. I'm going to pick up my Sketch and Wash pencil. So make sure it's the one with the silver tip, General's Sketch and Wash. If you don't have this, you just use a regular pencil for right now, and I'll show you what to do with it. Okay, everybody have their Sketch and Wash. We're going to just color in that little white space that we left at the top of each of the white sections that we were just tangling in with our jelly roll. Okay, so I'm just with my Sketch and Wash, a nice hardy layer of this Sketch and Wash graphite, which you're going to see what it does in a second. It's very cool. Don't worry if you get a little bit on your patterns in there, it's okay. I'm putting down a nice thick layer. It's a nice sort of soft, creamy pencil. Okay, it's not reading very well on the screen, but it really is, it's quite dark, the layer of the Sketch and Wash that I'm putting down. And again, I'm turning my tile so that my drawing hand stays in the same position comfortably. I don't have to twist and turn my drawing hand. It's a great thing about a little workspace. It can move to suit you. Not like working on a giant canvas or a mural or something. Okay, so we're just laying down this initial, oh, I forgot one. Down here. An initial layer of this Sketch and Wash. We can go back and add more even once it's wet. This is just to get us started. Okay, so we can set the Sketch and Wash pencil aside. I'll give you another minute. Okay. So this is where our brush pen comes into play. I'm going to take the blue cap off. And maybe if you have a paper towel or just another piece of paper or something, just give it a try elsewhere, not on your tile, just so you can see how much you have to squeeze to get the brush wet. It's not very much. And once it's wet, once you've gotten the water down to the bristles, just then you can see how much you need to sort of get it flowing. You don't need a ton of water for this. And again, you can put the cap on the back end. You don't need a ton of water. You can use a ton of water, but let's try to limit it just so that we can continue working on it without having to stop and let it dry. So I'm gonna, actually wish I had a paper towel. Oh, I do, wait, hold on. Somewhere. Give me 1 second. Here we go. It's a craft room, it's gotta have paper towels. Okay, so I just dab mine off a little bit. So I'm just gonna, here, I'll start in the big one first. I'm gonna start right in where the General's Sketch and Wash is. I'm gonna get that whole thing wet. And then I'm just gonna start to work it down that whole section that we just put our you know, our printemps in or our flux or whatever. And I'm just going to blend it down so that the whole area gets kind of like a gray wash. Word of warning, some of the jelly rolls may bleed a little bit. I was experimenting, actually here, let me show you for a sec. I was experimenting with pink and I actually loved what happened. The pink bled a little bit and made the whole thing pink, but it's cool. It still maintained the tangle and just blended the pigment. So we're just playing, you know, a lot of different things can happen right now. So just go ahead and don't be afraid. If this doesn't go well, you have another white tile, you can try again. Okay. So I'm leaving it darker up at the top where we first put that sketch and wash down, but then I'm letting it kind of fade to a lighter gray down the side, you can see there. So I'm going to do that on everywhere where I put the sketch and wash. I'm going to wet the sketch and wash first, just really lightly, and I'm hardly touching with the brush. It's like just kissing the paper. And then I'm going to just bring that sketch and wash pigment down the length of that band over top of the whatever tangle you put there. Just a gradation, an ombre kind of a thing, right? So it's darker at the top where you started and gets lighter as you go down towards that point at the bottom. And I haven't squeezed my brush pen at all. I'm just using the water that's in the brush itself and I guess gravity kind of allowing it to flow once it gets started. And these brush pens are great. I don't know if you have watercolor pencils. They're great for that. A lot of different things you could do with them. So this is just a fun new thing. Like, do we need this? Could we just shade it with pencil? Oh yeah, if you don't have a sketch and wash and a pencil and a brush, just shade like you would any other Zentangle tile. You put some graphite down at the top, you know, here where we put the sketch and wash, and then you blend with your tortillon. So it's really just the same idea. We're just using water to blend this special pencil, but you could get a similar effect with just pencil and tortillon. If you don't have a tortillon, you can use pencil and a finger. With Zentangle, we use the tools we have available to us to make whatever we're doing the most beautiful as possible. Just introducing different tools and techniques just keeps it fresh, keeps us thinking and creative. You know, Zentangle is it's comforting. We can fall into our routine. We all have our mac and cheese tangles, our comfort tangles that we know really well that make us feel good. But every now and then it's good to just try something a little different. Get out of our comfort zone just a little bit. You can steal, like I had a lot of the sketch and wash pencil here and I need to add a little over here so you can just kind of move it over. Just like when you have a loaded tortillon. And the great thing with these brush pens is there's really no cleanup. If you wanted to clean off the brush a little bit, you just dab it on a paper towel, you put the cap back on, you throw it in your bag, and you're ready to go. Really helpful tool. So this was good because it really differentiated between the different sections that we were tangling in. Especially mine, like the purple was very dark. It looked very similar to the black. So this kind of set it apart. This might be like blowing on your nails to get them to dry faster, but I do blow on it. If you even have a hair dryer nearby, you could dry it that way too.
How do you clean the sketch and watch tip?
The
Mine has
pencil?
like, no, this, like there's green on the tip of the sketch and wash.
Of the brush or the pencil?
The brush.
Oh, just wipe it on a paper towel, or you could run it under water, but it doesn't really, yeah,
It's not really gonna,
it's just a little bit of the graphite on there.
okay.
I'll give you a minute to play with that and then I'll let that dry for a second. There is a cool pen called a glaze, a Jelly Roll glaze pen. It's pretty much clear when you put it down, but if then you were to sketch and wash over it, it repels the gray, so then it's white. So, and I do have some of those, and I think I just forgot to give them to you, but it's also a fun technique, so you kind of get a reverse image. So that, again, if they're called glaze, if you wanted to try those. Does anybody have any other questions? How are we doing? Are we feeling overwhelmed at all, or are we doing okay? Okay, good. I know we have a couple people who are with us for the first time, so I acknowledge this is a lot jumping in, but hopefully these are all techniques that you'll be able to integrate into a continued Zentangle practice. So I hope you're doing okay and being kind to yourself. We're just learning and playing, and it's really all there is to it. Okay, so acknowledging that we may still have some wetness on our tile, we're going to avoid the sections that are wet, hopefully. We're going to shade Shattuck for a little bit. Again, I'll start in a bigger section here so you can see. I'm going to look for the top of each of my curved sections. I'm taking my pencil, your Zentangle pencil. This is just I think, John, you gave me this pencil, by the way. I really like it. Thank you. I'm just going to add a little graphite on that top arch of each of these Shattuck wedges that we made. And don't worry too much when you get down into the little crevices there. And then with your tortillon, or if you don't have a tortillon, with a finger, just take that and blend it out a little bit. So you want to keep it darkest where you first set it down, and then blend it out to the medium and then light, and then leave the rest. Leave some white. Can you see how that's going from dark to light there? I guess I can put my pencil down. I don't need to hold it in my hand while I do this. And some people like to put all of the graphite down and then do all of the tortillon work. And some like to go, you could go section by section, and maybe, differs for you depending on the day. There's no wrong or right way. We just want gradations of dark to medium to light, all the way down to that little bit. Okay, so we're going to do that on all. Oh, here, that's a good angle. You can really see it there. Here it doesn't show up so well. This is what we're going for. We're going to do that on all of our sections of Shattuck. And the shading process is really when our Zentangle piece starts to come to life. It's a lot of pretty lines. Before that, nice line work. But then when you start to add shadow and highlight, it just all of a sudden jumps off the tile. It's magical. It's time consuming. It's a little tedious at times, but totally worth it. Okay. So I put down the graphite that I wanted to, and now I'm gonna blend it with the tortillon. This was always my favorite part when we were in person, when everybody's using the tortillon. You can hear the sound of it, everybody's little scritch scratch. It's one thing that makes me sad about being on Zoom. I can't hear the scritch scratch of happy little tortillons. Okay, so that's looking really cool. Lots of depth. We can go back in now. You could do this with the sketch and wash too, or you could just do it with a pencil. I'm going to just use the pencil. Looks the same as sketch and wash, but where we did these black areas where it loops over, if you follow that line, you can go back and just add a little bit more shadow all along that line. So it's on the section that you did with the jelly roll with your differentiated color. You can just add a little bit more graphite along, following where that blackened area is. all the way down that side, and it gives another layer of shadow. Hopefully it's dry enough there. Here, you can see it there. If I tilt my paper, you can see what I'm talking about. This one kind of goes both ways. You can just sort of decide where you want to go. And then you can take your tortillon and blend that in. Be gentle with the fibers, if it's a little wet still, you don't want to abrade it too much, so go lightly. That's starting to pop. You don't have to do this, but I'm going to take a white charcoal, or I might find my white jelly roll. Actually, I gotta look for it. I'm wondering if we can add some highlights on the sketch and wash areas. If yours is like mine, it all kind of got gray with a little purple, which isn't bad, but you could add some highlights on top of that, either with a charcoal pencil or with the jelly roll. I'm going to try, and if you don't have either of those tools, don't worry too much about it. I'm just experimenting. I'm going to look in this area here and see if it does anything if I put a little white. Okay, not so much with the jelly roll. Let's see with the charcoal pencil what it does. Also not a ton. Okay, maybe that was a silly idea. But we can, however, if you have a white charcoal, you can add a little highlight in the center of each of these Shattuck wedges. Just a little line down the center there, like a little highlight. You can see, you could add that if you want to. Again, not requirement, just an option. And not all the sections will really show it, but you could just highlight them a little bit. I really want this to show up on the sketch and wash, but it doesn't. Never mind. So you could add a little highlight. It's looking very nice. And as we're coming to the end, if any of your original lines, any of those original bands that we put down got a little washed out with all the work that we've done, you can take your PN again and redraw some of those original bands that we did. It really will make them come to life one more time if they got a little lost. And set them apart from all the other line work. We did so much. And the PN is sturdy enough, it goes right over everything that we did. So that pops it again. I'm going to go around the whole outside also. Just one more time. Setting those exterior lines apart from all of the many interior lines that we just drew. Making them a little thicker, a little bolder. I do this a lot at the end of a tile. You know, sometimes those original lines have so much work that's been done on top of them that they fade a little bit, and you can bring them right back out just by reiterating them. Oops. That got away from me a little bit, but you could even go in and give some extra weight to that top piece of each wedge on Shattuck if you want to. You don't have to, but it emphasizes the weighting and the shading that we did. Just putting those last finishing touches. Anything else you might want to do to finish it up? And then when you're ready, we can put our chop on our tile. That's our initials or something that allows us and everyone else to know that it's ours from the front of the tile. So I'm going to put a little M down here at the bottom. Just kind of hanging out there. And just so we remember, we can turn our tile over. I drew on the back of mine, but that's okay. We did, tonight was TS, Zentangle, class 1, and it is 11/1/2023. We did Aqua Fleur. We did Shattuck. We did Flux, and maybe you did Printemps or Oak Root or Tipple. You might not have done all of those, but those are the ones that I demoed. And then put your name on it, of course, most importantly. And if you want to write any reflections about how you were feeling heading into this piece and how you're feeling now, or something you want to try next time, write lots of notes on the back. They're like these tiny little journals. A moment in time. And when we're done, when you're done with all that, I'm going to take my spotlight off, and I would love it if everybody would put their tile up to the screen so that we can do our mosaic. Here we go. I do that. Yeah. Just keep them up there. Gallery. Ah, there we go. So yeah. How'd we do, everybody? These look beautiful. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, so I see that a lot of the jelly rolls did get a little blendy, but I like the way that it looks. I think it looks really good. Fun.
I was very happy that mine blended.
It did, yeah. Oh, very good. Yeah, so, you know, I wasn't totally sure what was going to happen with each of our different pens, but it seems to have worked out. Very nice.
Cantor, on Shattuck, have you ever tried shading the opposite direction? That is from the tiny bottom
Sure.
part of the circle up?
You could definitely do that. It would definitely work that way too. Yep. Yep. Something to try. Excellent. All right, everyone. Thank you. These came out beautifully. I hope you enjoyed it. It was fun to play and experiment. We have our next class next Wednesday. It is your same link every time for all of our classes all year long. Email me if you have any questions or reflections or suggestions. And I hope that you have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you soon.
You're gonna record
Thank
them
you. That was
next week?
fun.
This one was recorded. I will record the others as well, as long as somebody reminds me.
Because I'm gonna miss next week.
I'll get you. I got you.
Micah, I have a question.
Yeah.
If my sister wanted to do this, can I forward it to her, or is it just for us here at Temple Center?
No, that's fine. You could send her the link to any of the recordings that are on the website, or she can register as a non-member through the website as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I'll just need to get her a kit somehow. So if she's not local,
Well, she's in San Diego.
well, we can mail it.
All right. Well, I'm gonna just tell. I mean, because you can also purchase some of this on Amazon, right?
Oh yeah, everything is available online. Definitely.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. All right, but my kits are packed with love, just so you know. I don't know if Amazon kits are packed with love.
They certainly do not.
Micah's are definitely better.
Debbie, I would think if your sister registered tomorrow and you got a kid out tomorrow, Friday, she should have it before the next week.
Yeah, I
All
did
right.
run out of a couple of things, but I reordered more, so we'll get it. We can get her everything she needs, if that's.
Also, just FYI, about not a year ago, maybe 6 months ago, I purchased a whole set of the brushes with colors at Five Below.
Oh, interesting. The
So,
brush pens?
yeah, but then it was a rainbow of colors.
Wow. All right. Nice.
Phyllis, is that all your work on the wall?
Yeah.
Yeah, look behind Phyllis.
Oh, great.
All of her Zentangle work is up on the wall. Isn't that so cool?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love it.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Good night, everyone. This
Good
was
night,
great.
everyone.
Thank
you,
much.
Micah.
Thank you.
a lot.
Thank you, Micah.
See you next week.
I did this
Bye.
one with the resist pen a
Oh,
while
you have
back.
that. Yeah, it's so cool, right? Love it. Bye, everybody.